Can you actually boost your credit score by 100 points and do it right now? You actually can. And what it comes down to is what I call the big major factor in your credit score boost. It's credit utilization. At the end of the day, a lot of times we think, well, hey, if I make my payments on time, I'm going to have a high credit score. And that's not how the credit scoring system works. Making your payments on time represents about 35% of your credit score. And so the next biggest factor is how you utilize credit cards. So let's say I have a $10,000 credit card limit, and if I utilize more than 25 or 30% of that credit card, then my score starts to go down a little bit. If I use more than 50%, it really goes down. And if I use 100%, now I'm in trouble, right? Now, the good news is if you're using credit to build your business, that's okay for it to go down a little bit, because then you're going to pay it down and have better credit and be able to generate a lot more income and money. But if you just have credit card balances for different personal reasons, then that's where you really want to focus on getting those paid down. But Leo, what if I don't have the cash to do that? That's why I've got the credit card balances in the first place. Am I stuck? Am I screwed? The good news is you're not. There is always a solution to make this happen, and one of the most effective ways to do this is to secure a personal term loan. There are a lot of different lenders out there that will give you a loan just based on having a 650 or better credit score and also verifiable personal income enough to cover your debts. And so basically you can get one of these personal term loans, you get that loan, and taking on a new installment loan doesn't negatively impact your credit for the most part. And if you use that loan to pay down those credit card balances, amazing things can happen. I can think of so many clients over the years whose credit has gone up actually over 100 points, if you can believe it, just because they were able to pay down some credit card balances with one of these personal term loans, and it boosted their credit score significantly. So you get those card balances paid down before you're going to go apply for funding or card stacking, to buy a home, to get a car loan, or even to get new credit cards. That's the key. That's the way to boost your credit score by up to 100 points. And it can be done so quickly and easily with these loans. Now, one of the things you do need to be aware of is you have to actually wait for this to update with the credit bureaus. Just because you paid those card balances down doesn't mean it's going to immediately reflect on your credit report. So you need to be monitoring your credit at Experian.com or one of those credit bureau management systems, and that way you can actually check and see when those balances update. Typically it'll be within a few days of your next payment due date. The roadmap to success is definitely much easier if you have good credit. If you don't right now, well, let's go over the steps that it takes to get there. So there are 5 steps actually to building a perfect credit score, an 850 FICO score. Number 1, you need to build multiple credit accounts. So what does that mean? Well, you need to have credit card accounts, you need to have auto loan accounts, and you need to have mortgage accounts. Those are kind of the AKA big 3. If you can open those 3 types of accounts, that's going to be very powerful in building a strong credit history and put you on a path to an 850. So step 1 again is build multiple credit history accounts, credit cards, auto loans, mortgages. You probably want to avoid and pay off student loans as fast as possible. Those don't help you build credit. All right, so that's step 1. Step 2 is you want to set up auto pay with all of your payments that are on credit, right? Again, the big 3, the credit cards, the auto loans, the mortgages, maybe you have some personal loans and some student loans. Guys, these have to be on auto pay. The technology's there. Now, I've been in a situation where, I'm a little tight on cash, and so I got most everything on auto pay, but my big payments, like maybe my mortgage, rent, other things, maybe I don't have those on auto pay or an auto loan, and maybe I'm being very careful to make the payment within 5 to 10 days of the due date. As long as you're not 30 days late, it will never impact your credit. And if you are having a weekly money date to review all of your accounts on credit, make sure they're on time. That's very important. If you're using the myfigures.com money manager to do that, that's a great resource to help make sure that you're on top of your business and personal expenses with auto pay. So payment history, very important there. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is you have to manage revolving credit card accounts and unsecured or no collateral lines of credit credit very well. Now, if you need to max those out to grow your business, that's understandable. You can do that temporarily, but when you're looking to get financing, when you're looking to acquire more capital, you have to pay your credit cards down. That's a big part of your credit score. If you want to have an 850, you really need to have your credit card usage probably at around 5 or 10% of the limit or less. So if you have a $10,000 card limit, you want to have that balance somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 or less. Now, if you're just trying to be able to qualify for financing, you're going to need probably a 720, a 740 credit score, at least a 680. And so if you keep the utilization there around 30%, a $3,000 balance on a $10,000 card, that will be very helpful. Next, new accounts and inquiries. You want to very strategically add those. When you go apply for funding and financing, do it only once a year or only once in a while so you keep your new accounts and inquiries low, but you strategically use them when you need to access money. That's step number 4 to perfect credit. And step number 5, and this one's going to surprise a lot of people. And sometimes, we'll hear Dave Ramsey, cut your credit cards up, don't use them. That's fine, but please keep them open. Average age of accounts is very important in keeping that high credit score. And so that's why grandpa and grandma often have a really high credit score, because they have a credit card that they opened back in 1980, and that is really having a positive impact on their credit. So at the end of the day, let's go back to those 3 original questions that we had when it comes to credit. Do 850 perfect credit scores exist? Yes, they do. What are the steps to follow? We just went over the 5 steps to have that 850 credit score, but the most important one is, should you even want a perfect credit score? I would say to you, no. If you're a 750 and above, you can pretty much access all of the top financing, the lowest interest rates. Maybe it's at times a 780 with some mortgage qualifications, but a 750 or 780 is going to be more than enough. You do want to keep it above there. You don't necessarily need the 850, but most importantly, your credit should be used to get money, not for bad debts, for personal reasons, but to use for business opportunities and investments that are going to generate a much bigger return. And that, my friends, is the 5 steps to building a perfect 850 credit score. Come on back, share this with other entrepreneurs, and let's win in 2024.